I think we'll get started right away, so there's time for questions and everybody can get off to lunch. I'm Robbie LaFleur, the director of the Legislative Reference Library, and on behalf of LNET, the Legislative Networking Group, and the Legislative Website Redesign Group, I want to welcome you to the second of 3 sessions in Legislative Website 101. We want to keep it short. The presentation today on how to search for bills online will be about 20 minutes, and then there'll be 10 minutes, well, and then longer if people really want to stay, to ask questions. I just want to emphasize that you can ask questions today. We really want to hear them. We want to hear comments. And then as time goes on, remember that you can always submit your comments or your suggestions at the bottom of any, there are always links at the bottom of any of the web pages. Many of the pages say, ask a legislative librarian. Be sure to do that if you have comments, especially generally about the website, because we'll get those comments to the right people. And even though we have tried, we all who work on the legislative website have tried to make this very complex process really easy to follow online. We know it's not easy. So if you have questions about is something available or how can I search for something, be sure to ask. So today we have 2 very experienced legislative staff members to talk to us about how to find, how to search for bills online. Carl Hamre with the House Index Office has been with the legislature since 1994. And Mike Speiker, the House Webmaster, beats him even since he's been with the legislature since 1991. So we have people with deep knowledge helping us out today. Floor is yours.
What are your home phone numbers?
There's not home phone numbers, but there are phone numbers definitely on the website.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to just talk a little bit about the bill search and status system. It's obviously an important part of the website if you're trying to track your legislation or find legislation at various points in the process. So there's a lot of different ways to get to this page, but here we're on the main House page. You can get to it from the Senate page, and you can get to it from the top navigation bar up here as well. You can get to the bill search page. So that's the first place I'm going to go to here. So this is, you're at the basic bill search page, and from here you can select the biennium that you want to go to. Everything in our system is online back to 1995. So you can search going back quite a ways online now. If you need to go back further than that, you're going to have to use the written index documents and the journals, and it's going to be a little more research on your own. And you can obviously also call our office. Our number is 296-6646. That's the House Index phone number, the public number, and we will help you with anything you want to find. So when you're at this page, you know, obviously if you know the bill number, that's the easiest thing. You just type it in and you're going to go right to the status. So I'm not going to waste any time with that. Most of the time people don't know the bill number, or your problem is kind of already solved. So I'm going to go back to the last biennium and do a couple of bill searches for you to show you how you can find some things online. The first one here is the keyword search, okay? So I'm just gonna type in a keyword, everybody's favorite topic, marriage, and we're gonna see what comes up. Now when you do a keyword search, it's searching both what's called the short description, which is a description that our office types that kind of describes what the bill is. That's shown over here on the right. And it's also searching the text of the bill, which you can see up here. So you found a lot of bill results doing that. It's a very wide net you're casting. There's 96 bills. I happen to just know offhand which one is the one everybody's looking for, and it's down here at Senate File 1308. But I'm going to back up for just a moment. And there's also other ways to get at that same information. So for instance, let's say you know who the chief author was of that bill. And I know it was Representative Gottwalt, and you can see there he has 40 bills. So if you know an author of the bill, you're narrowing things down. You're going to get the information a little bit faster. I'll go to that bill status page so you can just see what's available once you get there. This is the status page for the bill. There's a whole lot of information on here that people in our office primarily and the Senate input this data. So you can see this is the description of the bill that we've written, describing what the bill actually does. You see all the authors in the House, you see all the authors in the Senate. Up here you have the various versions of the bill. This bill was engrossed once, so you see the introduction and then the first engrossment. That's a drop-down menu. You see the companion House file to this bill. This bill happened to be a Senate file. And over here you see the chapter of session law that it became, Chapter 88. Down here in chronological order, you see the actions. So this is a Senate file. It's introduced in the Senate. It goes through their committee process and their floor process. You can see when it's passed. You'll see the vote, and you'll see all of these links on the right are hyperlinks to the exact journal page where that action occurred. And then the bill comes up to the House, or back to the House, and you see it's received from the Senate and goes through the entire process here and is passed on May 21st. You'll see the presentment date, etc., these dates, and the chapter number. So that's just an example of the information that's contained on that page. I'll go back to the search page again to just show you one other way to get this. There's an advanced search page where you can combine some elements. So I'm going to pick a different bill in the interest of keeping this short and sweet. But we also know that last year there was a Viking Stadium bill, which was a big deal apparently. And I happen to know that the chief author was Representative Lanning. So instead of typing in stadium and getting 70, 80, 90 bills, I'm going to go to this advanced search. I'm going to enter Lanning, and then I'm going to combine it. We have a topical search, and there's a topic that is stadiums. Up here on the top, you have to tell the search engine that you want both, not either or. Otherwise, you'd get all bills that are Lanning and all bills that are stadium.
How did you get to that again when you were in the prior page?
There's a link on the right that says advanced search. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
It's right. It's right here. So let's see if that. You've quickly gotten to the fact that Representative Lanning introduced 4 bills on the stadium. This column here that says official actions is kind of useful because it tells you that this bill had 26 official actions in the House. This had 6, this had 18. So the one I'm going to look at first is this one, and it's going to be the right bill. So by combining search terms, you've theoretically made your search a lot faster. Again, these links are all hyperlinks to journal pages and votes. So I'm gonna just go to the final House vote right here. And that takes you right away to the House, the official vote in the House on the Viking Stadium bill, which is 71 to 60. This is right out of the journal, so you can see who voted what way. And then, because of the way the columns line up, you can also link to this page, which will give you every floor vote on that bill. And here's the same vote in a little bit easier format to print out, just because of the way it displays online. So you can get your votes and your journal actions that way. Basically, you know, going back to the basic search, like I said, if you know the author ahead of time, you will have saved a lot of your time. If you just know general subject matter, we have these topics down here, and those are just filed by our staff. Bills are assigned various topics, and so you can use that and then kind of scan through and try to find out what bill you're looking for. One other search I guess I would point out, just because it can be somewhat useful, is the statutory search. So for instance, I know that during the 09-10 biennium, Minnesota passed a bill on making seatbelt use or lack of seatbelt use a primary offense violation, meaning you can get pulled over for it. So I have the statute. I'm looking at current law, but I want to know when was that passed, where was that bill. Well, by typing in that statute in the statutory search, I can find any bill from that biennium that modified that statute at all. So you're bringing up 4 bills, and I happen to just know that this is the one, but you'd look at all of them. But so there's your primary offense seatbelt law in Minnesota. And if you're looking at statutes online, you'll always see the legislative history at the bottom of it, of a particular statute. So that can also be a useful online search. And again, if you have difficulties or problems or want to combine some more advanced searches and stuff, you can call our office anytime. We're happy to help and never too busy. So Mike will talk about a couple other features now, and any questions, shout.
One of the things that sort of ties with the status system is that we have an online tracking system you can customize for yourself, and it's called the MyBills. And the link is right here off this second link on legislation. I'll quickly go to it. If you don't have an account, you can easily set up an account. Just your first, last name, and email address. And the nice thing is you can actually set up multiple accounts or with usernames, so that you could, for example, if you're working with a number of members, you could create user accounts for each member with your own email address. So you'll be getting the email notifications to yourself, and you can assist. I'm not going to go through, just for time-wise, how to create a user, but it's quite simple, just like right here. I have an account already set up, and I'll log in and just show you the features. I misspelled my name, sorry about that. I've already added a number of bills to my account, but if you're starting out from scratch, you can just go into click on the link for Edit Bills, and get this display, and you can add, if you know the House file or Senate file number, you can just add it in right here. And I'll just do 123, add, and it's add it to my list of bills, which appears here on the left. But if I want to, and I'm not sure, I can just click on all House bills, and you'll see the entire list there. And you can go ahead and just add another bill as well like that. Or you can do it by author. Get a list. You can add their bills there. Or even by topic. You'll get a list of bills by topic. And once you have your account, you can go back to the main page and you'll see them in alphanumeric order with the short description, and you can click on for more details. You'll see the status if you want to as well. And you can hide that detail as well. One of the nice features of the MyBills is that we do give you alerts based on if it has a hearing scheduled, if it's on any House order of business, and hopefully we'll have it worked out with any Senate order of business. Another feature is you can actually add notes to it. So for example, you can add any textual, I think it's up to 500 characters, but you can add so it'll hold on to your notes. One other feature is we have this My RSS Feed. So when I click on this, it's going to show me any bill that has a hearing scheduled, or if it sits on any order of business. And it's nice because you could insert this into an RSS reader on your desktop or iPad or mobile device, and when Carl in his office updates the actions, or when the committee administrators and the CAs, or they update the information into the scheduling application, this will refresh itself and give you the new data right away. One thing it also does is at the end of session, I get notification that the Senate has completed its day and that the actions have been updated, and I run a script and actually send out an email to those people subscribed to certain bills automatically at the end of the day, and the same in the House. So you get email notification of actions taken on the House floor. One feature that we have added this year is that if you're anywhere on the House at this time, eventually it'll be in the Senate and on the revisor site, but if you're, for example, looking at the schedule as an example, and of course I picked a bad day, there's no hearings of bills. Let's go to the 29th. All right, here's House File 9. It's already on my list, but I'm going to mouse over it. I get a pop-up with this information, and one of the links is to add to MyBills. So I'll go ahead and add that to MyBills, and it will automatically add it to your account.
You have to be logged in for that to work, right?
If you're not logged in, it'll prompt you to log in, and then it'll add it right after that. And as long as once you've logged into your machine, you can exit out of the site and go back in, and you'll still be able to do it as well.
As long as you don't close your browser.
Actually, yes, if you close your browser, it'll prompt you again once you do it. But
Okay, so when you're on MyBills and you're tracking, your senator's bills, how do you know what the House companion bill is? Do you have to add that too?
you'll have to add that as well.
Okay, okay.
Right. Question. Any other questions about that?
But I suppose for every House file that has a companion, that link is already in the House file.
It is. It's in the it's in the status system, so it's part. You'll see the information there. You can go back and one of the things that talked to the revisor staff is that in the bill search and status page, they hope to add that link on the status page to add to MyBills. So when you're doing your searching, you can just go ahead and add that as well. Another thing, it's also available in the get bill information. So I'll just type in house file 66 search, and I can add it there as well.
So if your bill gets rolled into an omnibus bill in committee, will the system then track the?
No.
It doesn't do that?
No, because there's some sort of technical difficulties as well as like legislative difficulties. Perhaps part of the bill was rolled into it, but not all of the bill was rolled into it, or some language of the bill was rolled into it. So
We put notes at the bottom of a bill status page that'll say, you know, see House File 2000, if we know something has been included in another bill. So you'll see that as the session progresses on either on the House or Senate side, but there isn't a real perfect way of keeping up with that, so we sort of do it to the best of our ability.
So the difference between the alerts and the RSS feed would just be that the alerts come once a day and the RSS could come as soon as it's updated?
yes, and you'll see that in the alerts. I'll go back to this page. The alerts aren't going to be, the alerts are sort of like before, and the RSS feed is scheduled actions that have taken place on your bill. We were trying to work out a way to send you an email notification if a bill is scheduled for a hearing. But we found is that depending on what time of the day it was, you may have a bill added to an agenda, but only a few hours later removed from the agenda. So we didn't want a lot of false positives like, oh yeah, it's on the agenda, I'll show up at the meeting and not go back to the site and look to see, oh, by the way, it's not on there anymore. So we had that problem to work out. But
Representative Isaacson doesn't come up under the House office for bill search.
what,
Representative Isaacson? Yes, yeah, but Yaruso does, so I don't know if that just needs to be added.
does he have any does he have any bills authored yet?
Well, I checked, Yaruso doesn't either, but there's one that comes up as a test, so is that
Oh,
what it is? It just
Yeah.
doesn't come up until.
yeah.
Yeah, Isaacson doesn't have any bills in yet. I just was looking at him the other day.
No?
Does this work with all browsers or just Internet Explorer?
No, it works with most. I haven't like had any problems on Chrome, but it works in Firefox. But hopefully we have some of the features added for those other sites to adding bills. But anything else?
I just wanted to mention that these sessions are being taped there will be video available from the House Public Information Office. They're going to be on the House Information YouTube site. And if you didn't come to last week's session about statutes and laws online with the revisor of statutes, that's going to be available pretty soon, within a day or two. And it'll be tweeted and you'll hear about it in some way. So all three of these will be online as well. Thank you very much, guys, for doing this presentation. I also wanted to mention that Mike talks about, pretty soon this will happen, and I think this is just an indication of how hard our programmers and our staff work here in the legislature to keep adding new features, new cool things. Oh, we can do that. And then, it takes a little while, but things get added. So keep watching for new things to happen all the time. One of the cool things about the bill status system that the revisor's office did this year that I think wasn't part of the presentation was right now when you look at a bill status page, you see the actions of one body and the actions of another body color-coded for the House and the Senate. You can now switch to look at a chronological view because some people want to see what happened by date rather than just by body. So that's another example of a cool feature. So are there any other questions generally about the website or about the bill searching? Thank you so much for coming. We'll see you next Friday.